I reviewed a video by Victoria Outside and I thought it was going to be the building of this shelter. It turned out not to be. So I said in that video that I'd do another video looking at the building of the shelter, and that's what this is going to be. So the video we're looking at is called Bushcraft Shelter from 200 Tree Poles, Solo Build Without Nails in the Wild. Alright, let's just jump into this video and yeah, see how she builds this shelter. Alright, just a recap of the build. So it actually looks like we're going to get the whole build in this one. I've said it before in other videos, but I'm always so envious of these people in North America and in Europe in this case that have got these great resources. All that moss on the ground, they've got all those straight trees that are all uniformed. Alright, so the last video of hers I watched, it started out cutting moss, and this one's no different. I've got to get one of those shovels. So I've seen it in a few different videos now, and I really like the handle on it. That sort of wrapped over handle. I think it'd be really comfortable for digging. Maybe not so much for digging how she's digging this, because I guess you could always lash another pole onto it to make a long handle so you're not killing your back. Because you know, imagine digging like that for hours, you're bent over, that's gonna, I mean, I got a bad back, and that's gonna kill my back. So what you could do is you could do what she just did, have it bent over like a hoe, and then lash a longer pole onto it, and then so you've got a long handle tool to chop away with. Alright, that's pretty good. You can just walk out in the forest and find this big pile of poles that are all cut to length. So she didn't show us cutting any timber at all, it's just there. She just rocked up. Unless she's done that in another video. I mean, I'm not going to go watch another video to see if she's prepped for this. But that's sort of, I mean, what's she got there? No. She's done this in slow motion. She's slowed this down to make it look more cinematic something. No. So she's using a reciprocating saw to do a bushcraft project. Well, it makes life quicker than using a handsaw, but to me that's just cheating. I mean, if you're building a log cabin to live in and something like that, but when you're making a YouTube video, the bushcraft video for YouTube, and you call it bushcraft, I mean, I guess she's still in the bush and she's crafting, but she's using a power tool. I mean, I've used a drill once to drill a couple of holes in, and I felt really bad about doing that. She could have got a larger tooth blade to cut through it easier. No matter what she does with this shelter now, I feel let down at the fact that she's used a power tool instead of using a handsaw that she's got. I know it's going to speed things up doing it this way, and it's going to conserve energy, but I feel like it cheapens the whole thing. You tell me what you think, but for me, I'm not a fan of seeing that. She's still using skills. I mean, there's no doubt about that. She's got in mind what she wants to build and how she's going to construct it. She's probably, well, not probably, but she definitely would have thought through the whole process. Maybe got measurements and worked it out, and maybe did some sketches. Her hair always looks so neat, like freshly washed and not out of place. Oh man, if I had hair that long, my hair needs a good cut, but if it was that long, it'd be all knotted up and tangled, and there'd be spider webs through it, and it'd be just... She's doing this, you can go out there, you don't need cordage, you can just have your toolkit in your bag and then go out and assemble all this without any cordage. I mean, she might use cordage later on, but to build the frame, she's going to use pins in it and peg it all together. And that's great, and I really like that, but then it was let down by using a power tool. I mean, if you're out in the wilderness, you've packed up all your gear and you said, that's it, I'm leaving society, I'm heading out, I'm going to build myself a cabin, I'm going to live off the land. That's cool. then you get out there and you go, how do I charge my batteries for my for my power tool? Yeah, so I would have liked to have seen it. If she was going to go down the road of not using nails and things like that and keeping it really primitive in the actual fabrication, I would have liked to have seen that flow through into not using that. I don't know, I'm just hung up on that whole whole reciprocating saw thing. Leave me a comment, tell me what you think about her using the reciprocating saw, the power tool out there. Am I the only one that thinks it kind of cheapened the whole thing? Like, I mean, everything else she's doing is great, but I'm hung up on that one little thing that she could have used a hand saw instead of using a power tool. Certainly an awesome looking forest that she's in. Really like the location. Just when I'd got over the saw, she brings it out again. Oh really? I've said it before in the other video that I did of hers, but I really hate seeing her using her hatchet without a sheath on it. There's no cover on it. To me, and like when she's walking through the snow in the previous video I did of hers, made me just cringe, because so much potential to trip over something that's covered with snow and it's slippery or whatever, and you carrying a blade with no guard on it. And yeah, so this is the roof of her shelter. I know that because I've seen the other video. Does my head in. It really does my head in. So she has used some cordage there, as you can see. I would have done twice the speed of that. Just gone bump, 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 done. I find the video a bit slow, action-wise. Like, maybe it's just a personal thing. Everyone likes different things, but for me, I'd like it a bit quicker pace. Like you see one or two poles go in on a certain location, you don't need to see half a dozen of them. Right, I'm going to speed up through all this because it's boring the hell out of me. This would probably be a good video to watch on TV if you're sitting back and you're having dinner, you're eating a meal. So you could be having a conversation and just glancing at the TV from time to time. You haven't missed too much. I do like how she just locked that all back in there with that log in the bottom. Even with the shoveling there, with how she's doing that, you could still attach a longer pole to it, like lash it on, and so you got more leverage. You don't have to bend down as much to scoop it up, and yeah, like that pole that she's got there, she could have the shovel attached to the end of that. It does look cool. I mean, that wind sounds like water running. No. Oh, it's like every time I start to get over the saw, she brings it back out again. Yeah, that's better. Just use your hand saw. Look how short the blade is on that reciprocating saw anyway. Like it's not going to be suitable for cutting through what she was just trying to cut through. She's not hiding the fact that she's using a power saw, and so yeah, hats off to her for that. That she's showing what she's using instead of pretending that she's done it all with a hand saw when she hasn't. So yeah, I respect her for that and appreciate that. So this is her bed area. It's just enough already. She's got a hatchet. Why didn't she do that with her hatchet? Just chop it out with the hatchet. Hatchet's leaning right there. It's just, is she just having a laugh or what? Power saw just sitting there threatening. I wonder if she picked it up on her way out there. She was just driving through town and saw a hardware shop and said, oh, I'll just go in there and see what they got. Oh, power saw. I'll take that out with me. Give it a run. Cool setting. I'm hungry now. Thanks a lot, Victoria. It just made me hungry. And she'd hate me eating with her because she'd be on to her second bite and I'd be done. I'd be outside working again. So enjoy your meal. I'm gone. Done. Oh, okay. So this is all the prep work she did. I don't know why she didn't put this in the video. At least she finally got her jacket off and her vest off. Like, takes a bit of work before she gets to that stage, but yeah. Thanks for watching. All right, that's the build of the shelter. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think she's definitely got skills. The one thing that really irked me about that video and kind of let it down for me was the fact that she used that power saw. Yeah, that, I don't know. This is just a personal thing, each to their own. But for me, yeah, that I didn't. Especially when you put Bushcraft in the video description and the title, it makes me feel, okay, I'm going to see, for me, Bushcraft is using hand tools, not power tools. I suppose you could say that using a chainsaw to build a log cabin is still Bushcraft, and probably is, but if I'm watching something and building a log cabin, then yeah, I'd probably expect to see a chainsaw in it. But building this, the shelter itself, it was good size. It wasn't any bigger than it needed to be. Could it have been smaller? Yeah, a little bit. It could have been slightly smaller from that window end wall up to the fireplace. That could have been brought in. You got to remember, she's making videos there. She's not just there to live in it, so she needs space to move cameras and tripods and things around. If you haven't seen my other video of me commentating on her finishing off that shelter, I'll put a link in the video description, or you can click up here, watch it. If you've already seen it, there'll be a different video there for you to watch. Catch you in the next one.